Well, hey there, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back to Larry's House of Hockey. And if you're new to the channel, welcome to Larry's House of Hockey. So this is technically week one of the Larry's House of Hockey power rankings, and we kind of had some in comparison to the preseason power rankings. The ones for week one, wow, we had some movement. Had some big time movement. Now, of course, I think you're going to see this, especially the first couple weeks of the season. You're going to see teams probably moving up and down a lot. And the way I'm trying to do this is following each team per week and how they, whether they win in regulation or overtime or a shootout, or whether or not they lose in regulation, overtime, or a shootout. And that's kind of how I figure some of these teams will move up and down. And you got to think, after a couple weeks, it'll probably kind of start evening out. You might not get some big giant movements unless you get some like really bad streaks going. But yeah, so we definitely had some movement in comparison to the preseason rankings. So now, of course, this is kind of a short week, so I mean, a lot of teams have only played either one or two games. But you kind of gotta go with what the results are shown. And starting out at and of course I do kind of write everything. I kind of make sure that I try to write everything down here, and then I look at it and put it up here. So starting out at number 32, kind of a surprise start for sure, but I can't really claim them to be any higher. Seattle. Now, the Seattle Kraken, even though they had a good year last year. They made the playoffs. They came one win away from making the conference finals, but they've played 3 games, and they have just gotten they've gotten smoked. I mean, they just have gotten they haven't even been really in any of them. I mean, even the one game, they lost in overtime, I believe. But it has not been pretty. It has not been a pretty start for the Seattle Kraken, and it's just not been good. As I'm trying to make sure here. Now, see, this is the one thing about the new. Granted, I'm on the laptop version here, so it's not as bad. But yeah, Seattle lost in a shootout today. But yeah, they start out week one of the power rankings. They're number 32. Number 31, not exactly a surprise, but just thinking maybe they were going to be a little bit higher, and but they've only won one of their first 3 games, and that's the Connor Bedard's, better known as the Chicago Blackhawks. Now today they were looking like, they went into the game against Montreal, and oofta. It was kind of a butt kick. It started out as it started out like it wasn't looking real good. They were, they fell behind 3-0. They clawed their way back to 3-2, but it still wasn't, it wasn't enough, obviously. And I think it's going to be a rough season. It is going to be a rough season, I think, for Chicago. And but this was kind of expected, and I mean, you can only go up from here. You can only really go up from here, right? Theoretically. And we'll see what we'll see what the future brings for Chicago for the rest of the way. Now, number 30. Now, this is kind of a surprise, but I had to put them all the way down here. I mean, I expect these guys to be a lot higher as the season goes on, but as of right now, they're number 30. Holy mackerel! I mean, you lose both games in the home and home set against Vancouver. The first one. I mean, you lost 8-1 in the first game. It was like, wow. I mean, shocking. And then, it was more of a game today, but again, you lost to Vancouver, and you're starting out the season. You started out 0-2. Now, of course, this is where a lot of people, let's hit the panic button. It's 2 games. I'm expecting this logo to be up here at some point, at least somewhere in these first 2 rows at some point. But as of right now, 1 week in, just a couple games in, I got him at number 30. Number 29. Another team that people are already starting to panic about. Buffalo. The Buffalo Sabres. People are already starting to panic about the Sabres because they have started out the season 0-2. And, this is a team that a lot of expectations have been had from this team. They're expecting, this is a team, they have not made the playoffs in over 10 years. This is a team that a lot of people are thinking, they can't be as bad as the last few seasons. Can they? I mean, they just signed Rasmus Dahlin and Owen Power to these really big extensions. Two big key guys on their blue line. And, and again, this is another team I have to think they're going to be up here at some point. But again, we gotta see how the weeks progress. But as of right now, I got them number 29. Now, number 28, another team that is kind of a surprise that they're down this low. But again, when you start off the first week winless, the reigning defending Eastern Conference champion Florida Panthers. You start out the first week winless, you're going to be in the bottom. You're going to be in the bottom half. I mean, it's just that's again another team I expect to move up. I expect them to move up still, but again, losing your first couple games, and they haven't looked great. They got shut out in the first game against Minnesota, and it's kind of So I have the Panthers at number 28. Now number 27. Now these guys gave Colorado everything they could handle this year and just earlier tonight, and that's San Jose. The San Jose Sharks, behind Mackenzie Blackwood. Mackenzie Blackwood's the only reason why San Jose was even in the game against Colorado. Mackenzie Blackwood was just unbelievable. And, they got a point. They got a point out of the night. I mean, you can't really expect a whole lot more, out of a team that is playing Colorado, and Colorado they dominated that entire game. Dominated the entire game. They put up 50 shots. I believe it was 50 shots. At least they might have took. No, they did. Yeah, Colorado outshot San Jose 52-21. So if not for Mackenzie Blackwood, San Jose would have just gotten ran out of a building. So, but even though they got a point, it doesn't get them out of the bottom row. They're number 27. Number 26. Another team that is kind of struggling. And they just, it's... What was their record? I wrote all their records down. Where did I put them? Oh, yeah, there. They started out, they played 3 games this week. They lost 2 of them. Nashville. So Nashville is at number 26. And again, this is a team that, they've got Ryan O'Reilly. They've got, they've got UC Saros. And I think they're going to be okay. Theoretically. At least you would hope they would be okay. They lost to Boston. And it's, it's not horrible. Losing to Boston's not exactly a bad thing. But, again, you're starting out, you only win one game in the first week. It lands you at number 26. Number 25. Another team that is not really expected to do much. Now, even though they only played 1 game this week, Anaheim. The Anaheim Ducks, like I said, they only played 1 game this week, but it was a loss. And so, we'll see how it goes with them. But again, and they played. They start out. They only played 1 game, but it was against the defending champions, and they got their doors blown off. So, I got to give them a little credit there. They got beat, but they got beat by the defending champions. That's why I don't think they're down here. But I have them at 25th in the bottom row. Now, number 24. This is another team I expect to at least move up at some point. Washington. The Washington Capitals. Now, that's a team too that is, it's kind of a surprise. They've only played 1 game, but they lost that game. So, we'll have to see again what goes on with them. But again, you only play 1 game. You can't judge a whole lot after 1 game. But as of right now, Washington is number 24. Now, another team that's kind of a surprise at number 23. And again, this is a team that has not won it. They've only played 2 games, but they haven't won yet. And that's LA. The LA Kings. They lost 1 in regulation, and they lost 1 in a shootout. Now, the one they lost in a shootout was against Carolina. So, and that was, and considering they were down, they were down 5-2 at one point. So, you're down 5-2. You claw back. They clawed back. They forced overtime, and they ended up losing in a shootout. But again, they just, it's one of them things. They didn't win the game. If they'd have won the game, I think if they'd have won the game, they would have been a little higher. They would have been a little higher for sure if they would have won. If they would have won, especially in coming back from 5-2 down, if they'd have won, oh yeah, they would have been at least a couple spots higher for sure. But as of right now, they're number 23. Number 22, Calgary. The Calgary Flames, number 22. They are, again, they're a team that, as I go back here in the games today, yeah, they got smoked. They got ran over today. They got beat down. They got ramrodded. And, it's another team. They haven't won yet. They had one. They have an overtime or shootout loss and a regulation loss. The regulation loss, of course, being tonight. And yeah, so I've got the Flames at number 22 for at least week 1. Now, number 21. Now, I had some hope for these guys at the start after their first game. After their second game, yeah, Minnesota. Now, Philip Gustafson looked fantastic in Game 1 against Florida. Fantastic. Pitching a shutout. People are already saying, even after one game, it's one thing that always kind of gets me is, after a couple of games, they're already, people are saying, oh, this guy's going to win the Hart Trophy. Gustafson after one game, oh, could he win the Vezina? It's one game. I think that the whole early after one game Vezina talk, I think got blown up today because he got in against Toronto, and yeah, the Wild kind of got destroyed. They kind of got destroyed, and Gustafson, after a great first game, he fell back to earth big time. So I got the Wild at number 21. Number 20, another team. I mean, they might surprise some people. They could surprise some people. We'll see where they go. Philadelphia. Now, the Flyers, they are one of those teams that is, you're expecting one thing from them, but it might be, it might end up being something different. Now, today, they went against Ottawa, and Ottawa beat them down. So, Philadelphia, I mean, they could be lower. It wouldn't expect me if they drop, especially by next week. We'll see what the schedules are next week. We'll see, how each team does after next week. But as of right now, I got Philly at number 20, and we'll keep seeing what happens. Number 19. Now, this is a team that, I mean, they could go higher, they could go lower. Winnipeg, the Winnipeg Jets. Now, this of course is a team that just signed their captain and their all-star goaltender to big extensions. And yeah, Connor Hellebuck hasn't looked that great in the first couple of games. I mean, they got a win. They won their first game. They lost their second game. But they lost their first game, won their second game. And it just, I don't know. And even winning their second game, they still gave up 4 goals. So it's one of those, it's like, ugh. So I don't know. And Hellebuck has not, I mean, he hasn't looked that great so far. But again, we'll see what happens. It's only the first week. It's only a couple games in. So we shall see what happens. I got to think Winnipeg might move up, but who knows? They might move down too. Now, number 18, kind of a surprise, but yet not a surprise because they're without their goaltender for the next 2 months. Tampa. The Tampa Bay Lightning. They've got a lot of talent. But they're without Andrei Vasilevsky for 2 months. Nobody's expecting him back until at least December. I mean, you're hoping he'll be back by Christmas. But how far does Tampa drop? How far does Tampa drop without him? I mean, again, they've got the talent. I mean, they've got Stamkos, they've got Kucherov, they've got Hedman, they've got Point, they've got Cirelli, they've got Sergachev, they've got goal scorers. but it's the guy in net. You can score all the goals you want, but if your goaltender's giving up just as many as you score, it doesn't bode well. It does not really bode well. And seeing Tampa at number 18, it's a little surprising for sure. But you got to think it. Hopefully it turns around, or hopefully it turns around. They got to have a turnaround at some point before Vasi comes back, because by the time he comes back, I mean they could be down. They could be relatively far out of it. I mean, starts matter. Starts matter. And if you get off to a bad start, it's very hard to claw your way back into a playoff spot. So we'll see where Tampa goes during this time without Vasilevsky. Number 17. Kind of a surprise in a way, but Columbus. Columbus at 17. Now, Columbus is a team that, again, they've played what? I think they played 2 games so far. Where do they? Because I wrote their standings down. Yep, they played 2 games. They're 1-1 in their first 2 games, but they had a good win tonight. They beat the New York Rangers, which to me is a good win. That's a good win for Columbus. And so, and Adam Fantilli, did Fantilli I'm trying to remember if Fantilli got a goal tonight. No, there was somebody who got a hat trick tonight. No, that's right. It was Boone Jenner who had a hat trick tonight for Columbus. And let's see, yeah, Jenner. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember if Fantilli got a point tonight or not. No, it was Jiricek. David Jiricek. They just called him up from the because of the Zach Werenski injury, and so they called up Jiricek, and he got himself a goal tonight. So Columbus, I think, can only get better from there, right? So number 17 is Columbus. Number 16, Ottawa. The Ottawa Senators. This is another team that could be very, very interesting to see what exactly happens. What kind of team do we have here in Ottawa? You've got a new owner who apparently is saying all the right things. You had a nice little ceremony today with Claude Giroux celebrating his 1,000th point, and the new owner was out there with the old owners, with Eugene Melnick's daughters were there. It was a nice little ceremony, and he's saying all the right things. So, and I've got a lot of hope for Ottawa. I really do. I think Michael Landauer is going to be a decent owner. At least I'm hoping so. But yeah, I mean, right now, that's some people might think that might be a little high, but yeah, Ottawa, I got them right smack dab in the middle right now. So I got Ottawa at number 16. Number 15, a team that they did a pretty good job tonight against Tampa. Detroit. The Detroit Red Wings. Now, of course, everybody, is curious about, the Yzer plan and, what kind of plan does Steve Yzerman have? And, do you really believe in it? Do you not believe in it? I think Detroit's going to be all right. I mean, they put 6 goals up on Tampa. And again, now, of course, it's Tampa without Andrei Vasilevsky, but still, they put 6 goals up against Tampa in a good win, and and they're 1-1 after 2 games, and it's not horrible. Again, as the weeks get busier, we'll see exactly what happens. Number 14. a team that tonight they kind of got beat. They got beat, but I think they'll be higher up on the board as the time goes along, and that's the New York Rangers. Now, again, the Rangers are a team that they won their first game, then they lost their second game, and it's just it's you start out the season, you're 1-1. Again, there's not a whole ton that you can glean out of just, a couple games into a season. But, for week one, I think the New York Rangers are kind of in a spot where I think some people might think they're a little low. But, we'll see how the time goes. Number 13. Now, these guys might be a little high, some people might consider, but St. Louis. The St. Louis Blues, they won one, and they lost one. But the loss was an overtime or shootout loss. So it was a third column loss. They have not lost in regulation. So that's why I kind of have them a little higher, is because, losing in overtime or a shootout compared to losing in regulation, you don't get docked as much. Losing in overtime or a shootout, you don't quite get docked as much. So St. Louis is number 13, and we'll see if they can stick. We'll see if they can stick around there. Number 12. Now these guys might be a little high. Some people definitely might consider them a little high, but again, they started out the season. They played 2 games. They won one. They lost one in overtime or shootout. Montreal. So they do not have a regulation loss yet. We know that will change at some point. But Montreal right now is number 12. And when you have Cole Caulfield, you have Nick Suzuki, you have Uri Slafkovsky, you have you've got some pretty good, some really good young players on that team. Montreal is a team that I think could surprise some people. A lot of people are considering, are thinking they'll be in the lottery. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll have to see. But as of right now, I got them number 12. Now this is a team that definitely would have been higher if they would have won today. But they didn't. So they are, or no, where are they at? Or no, they didn't. Oh, they didn't play today, I guess. Did they play yesterday? Yeah, okay, yeah. It was yesterday. They played yesterday. But this was a team that definitely would have been a little higher if they would have won. And that's New Jersey. New Jersey is number 11. They lost in a shootout to Arizona. Now, whether or not you're looking at that like, you lost to the Coyotes, I mean, depending on what do you want to give them a little leeway there on losing to Arizona, or do you think that's a bad, you shouldn't, if you're a team that's supposed to be contending for the Stanley Cup, you shouldn't be losing to Arizona. Arizona might be a little better than I think a lot of people think. I mean, if you've noticed yet, we're up to number 11. You haven't seen the Coyotes yet. So, we'll have to wait and see. But again, you're only 2 games in. And, we'll see what happens with New Jersey from here. But as of right now, they're number 11. Number 10, another team that might be somewhat of a surprise. Again, they've only played 1 game. But it was a win. The New York Islanders. And yes, I'm using the Lighthouse logo. The logo that should have been on the shoulder of the reverse retro 2.0 for the Islanders. This right here. I do like that logo, by the way. But I have them number 10. They are another team that they could surprise some people. I really think they might surprise some people. And, a lot of people aren't really giving them a whole lot of hope to do anything. But it will not surprise me if they make something happen here. But, one game in, I got them number 10. Now, number 9, now this is a shocker. This might end up being the highest that they are all season, but if this ends up being the highest that they are all season, got to give them credit. Even though it's only they've only played one game, but that one win was against a pretty good team, Arizona. The Arizona Coyotes. I have them number 9. Again, now it seems weird. You get into the top 10 and Arizona's in the top 10? Is there something wrong with the space-time continuum? What's going on here? Arizona, again, they've only played one game, but they've looked good. They looked good in that one game. And a win against New Jersey? Not bad. Not a bad win. Not a bad win at all for Arizona. A lot of people would consider the loss to be a bad loss for New Jersey because, it was a shootout loss, but still. Arizona number 9, again, another good got some good young talent on that team. Logan Cooley out of Minnesota. I'm liking the potential of that kid. But yeah, if this is the highest that Arizona is all year, hey, it's not a bad way to start. Arizona number 9. Number 8, another team. They've only played one game. Dallas. Now, Dallas, I think, there's a lot of people that have got them favored to go deep in the Western Conference this year. Could they be the team that comes out of the West? Maybe. But, again, you've only played one game. And, first week, number 8, not horrible. So, we'll see where they go from here. But yeah, as of right now, I got them number 8. Number 7. Now, they didn't look that great in their first game, but they've come back, and they've won 2 in a row after that loss in their first game. Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh Penguins. They come back. They lose in that first game against Chicago, but they come back, and they had a really good win tonight against Calgary, and I think this is a team that I said during my preseason division predictions, where if I'm looking here, I had them finishing relatively high. I had them finishing relatively high in their division. So I think they're going to be a team that's going to need to be reckoned with, and they're going to be very interesting to watch. Of course, you've got Sidney Crosby, you've got Evgeny Malkin, you've got Brian Rusk, you've got Chris Letang, you've got Erik Karlsson now, and it's going to be interesting. We'll see what ends up happening. But yeah, Pittsburgh right now, I've got number 7. Now, this is a surprise. This is another one of those teams where this may be the highest that they are all season. But if this ends up being the highest, it's not a bad way to start. Through the first week, they won their... Where are they at? I had them written. Where? I had them written somewhere. Like I said, I had them somewhere. But they've won their first couple of games. And let's go back to the standings here. just to make sure, because I thought I wrote them down, but where are they? Okay, let's go back into here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, they won their first couple of games. They started out, they've only played 2 games, but they're 2-0. Vancouver. The Vancouver Canucks. I have them currently right now at number 6. Vancouver at number 6? Wait, what? What's going on here? Again, just like Arizona, is there some kind of, are we in a parallel universe here? Arizona number 9. Are we definitely in a parallel universe here? Vancouver number 6. Whoa! You can't deny the results though. They started out, they're 2-0. They won both games against Edmonton. The one game was just an absolute beatdown, and I mean, they're doing what they're supposed to do. And they started out 2-0. Now, of course, Vancouver's a team you don't want to really get your hopes up a lot of times. But again, you try to win the games you play. And Vancouver has won the 2 games they've played in. And yeah, so Vancouver right now at number 6. We'll see if they can keep that momentum. Number 5. Another team that has won both of the games that they have played in so far, Boston. Now, a lot of people, me included, had Boston dropping. I figured they would drop because, you lost Krejci, you lost Bergeron, both of them retiring. You moved Marchand up to captain, and they're another one of those teams. You expect them to drop out, but they just keep kind of hanging there. They just keep kind of hanging around, and here they are. At the start of the season, here they are in the top 5. So we'll see what they can keep go if they can keep that momentum going. Number 4. Now these guys, if not for a hot goaltender, they would have absolutely ran their opponent out of the building. And again, another team that's won both their games. And again, a team that is expected to be playing in the middle of June. Colorado. Colorado at number 4. I definitely do not think that's a bad spot for them. Now, again, they might have made it into the top 3 if they wouldn't have ran into a very hot Mackenzie Blackwood tonight. But, Colorado, they looked fantastic. They looked incredible. And it will not surprise me if they are the team that represents the Western Conference again this year. It will not surprise me at all. That is an incredible team. And it's definitely going to be interesting to see what they can do from this point on, if they can keep that momentum going. But man, do they look good. Oh, watching them against San Jose, I mean, yeah, if not for Mackenzie Blackwood standing on his head, I think that could have very easily been a 7-1, 8-1 game. Easily. But yeah, so right now, we got Colorado at number 4. Number 3, another team that has won both of their games, and a team that we definitely expect to be in this area for most of the season. That's Carolina. The Carolina Hurricanes, again, another good team, another really good team, and a team that is going to be something to be reckoned with. And, a team that a lot of people are thinking could come out of the East. Thing is, though, to get out of the Eastern Conference, you have to win a game in the conference finals. Carolina has not been able to do that in 12 straight conference final games. So, we'll see what happens. But again, you start out, you win the games you can, and, they're doing what they need to do. So Carolina's number 3. Now this one, I went back and forth. I flip-flopped on these two teams, And I think now one team has played one more game than the other. But the other team, to me, has just been just dominant. And again, I flip-flop back and forth, and this one might have some this one might have some people going and saying, "What are you thinking?" Number 2, the defending champion Vegas. The Vegas Golden Knights I have at number 2. Again, now this is a team, they've started out, they're 3-0. Starting out, they're looking good. Looking like, you wonder a lot of times with, as I knock stuff into the board. You wonder sometimes, though, with defending champions. The Stanley Cup hangover. Vegas doesn't seem to have that right now. They're starting out, they're 3-0, they're looking good. And yeah, they're incredible right now. They are looking like a team that definitely has a mission to try to repeat. And yeah, after week 1, I got them number 2. And again, some people might think I'm crazy for putting this team number 1, but they had a dominating performance tonight. And I got a couple of friends of mine who would probably enjoy this. Number 1, Toronto. The Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, when you have your star player, 2 games in, he has 6 goals already. Austin Matthews right now is on fire. What more can you say? 2 games, he's got 6 goals. What's that put him on pace for? 2 games, he's got back-to-back hat tricks. You can't think that pace is going to keep up. But, man, Toronto starting out, Austin Matthews getting back-to-back hat tricks, and they've looked great in both games. They have looked fantastic. And, again, they made Philip Gustafsson tonight, who pitched a shutout in his first game. They made him look like a piece of Swiss cheese tonight. Austin Matthews scored 6 goals. William Nylander had a pretty goal too. And this is a team that is going to be they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And yeah. So Austin Matthews, 6 goals in 2 games, back-to-back hat tricks. We'll see if he can keep that momentum going. We'll see if Toronto can keep the momentum going. And yeah. So this is the list for week 1. And I have to think there'll probably be some people that, because they do it with Shannon's all the time. I guarantee they'll probably do it with mine too. They'll fast forward all the way through to the end, and then they'll probably wonder, well, why do you have this team here? That's why you got to watch the whole video. I explain it. So yeah. This is week 1 of the NHL season. Week 1 of the power rankings. A lot different than the preseason ones. And yeah. So let me know what you guys think. Who do you think should be number 1? Who do you think should be number 1? And for what reason? What reason am I wrong on who I have at number 1 or number 2? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. And if you enjoyed the video, hopefully you did. If you did, it would be awesome if you hit that like button. If you really enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button. Check out some of the other videos on the channel. And if you want to be notified anytime future videos are uploaded, you can tap the little bell. And you'll be notified anytime future videos of mine go live. And like I said, I do these. I don't watch Shannon's. I will probably not watch his power rankings until I go to work, which will be later on today. And so I will have no idea where he ranks his teams. So nobody can go and say, well, you're just copying Shannon's. No. I have no idea where he has his teams are, and I mean, we might have some that are similar, but I got a feeling we got some that are probably going to be a little bit different, and that's kind of the beauty of it, And that's one reason why I kind of like the idea of doing power rankings like this, not just because I've got a lot of subscribers who want to see it, but they want to see other people's opinions. Just because one person has their teams in one certain spot doesn't mean another one's gonna be the same way. So, and again, I have not watched Shannon's power rankings. I don't know where he has his team sitting. I most likely will not watch his, like I said, until I go to work later on tonight. So here's my rankings. Let me know what you guys think. And again, let me know why you think I'm totally off my rocker with the teams that I have in the top 5, top 10. Again, let me know if you think I'm crazy, if you think I'm totally delusional, or if you think I've got it pretty much about right after week 1. So let me know what you guys think. Again, it would be greatly appreciated if you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you want to be notified anytime future videos are uploaded, you can tap the little bell, and it will notify you anytime one of my videos goes live. I will have this post to the channel probably later this morning or early afternoon, somewhere in there. And yeah, so tune in. Let me know what you guys think. Again, let me know why. Let me know why you think I'm completely off my rocker with who I have and where I have them. So let me know what you guys think. Hit like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later.